Welcome to today's topic. Um, Welcome to today's video. Our topic for today is hydration. So I'm going to go through a few slides that I made regarding this topic. So exercise is a thirsty work. When you exercise, you lose fluid, obviously, and you lose plenty of water, as sweat and as water also vapors in the air. So as you breathe out, so that if that's not replaced, you're gonna experience dehydration. So dehydration can affect your physical and mental performance. If you're an athlete, if you're in the gym, even if you're not doing anything, if you just work in your office, if that's not replaced, it's going to affect your mental and physical performance, and you're going to experience fatigue much earlier than if you weren't dehydrated. Let's go to the next one. So why do I sweat? I get this question a lot. Basically, as you start exercising, your muscles produce extra heat, and 75% of that energy you produce in like you put it into exercise, it is converted into heat, which is then lost. That's why you feel a lot warmer when you exercise, and that's when you drink plenty of water, you start then feeling a bit cooler. And if you don't, you're just gonna experience you becoming a lot warmer. And I experience that a lot sometimes if I'm not hydrated well enough. So everyone experiences it. Everyone goes through that. But you can minimize it. You can minimize the risk of dehydration, and I'm gonna go through steps that you can do to minimize the risk of dehydration. So, how much fluid do I lose? It depends. It depends on many factors. It depends on your exercise, the type of exercise you're doing. It depends on your genetics makeup. It depends on your environment. If you're living in a hot country, obviously you're going to sweat more. Some people sweat more than others, so it depends on your genetics. For me, I sweat a lot more than other people in the gym. When I compare myself to other people and I'm looking at them in the gym, maybe I'm working harder, but for some reason I'm sweating more. And yeah, like I noticed that even if I'm walking, I do sweat more than other people, which can be a good thing, but also you can experience dehydration a lot more than other people. So it depends on the weather, the humidity. If it's a hot country you live in, you're gonna sweat more, and you need to drink more water than if you were living in a cold country. An average person would lose about 0.5 to 2.5 litre per hour. So if you're exercising for an hour and a half, you probably would lose about 2.5 litre. It depends. Some people maybe sweat more, less. Some people may sweat more. So you could lose 3 litre, and some people might lose a litre. So it depends really. Like the best way to do it is to weigh yourself before going into the gym. Let's say before you start exercising, and then weigh yourself after that, and then you'll know how much water weight you lost. Okay, so that's the best way to do it, and I do it sometimes, and I see like about a litre and a half, 2 litre. I'd lose around that sometimes more if I'm doing legs, a heavy leg session, and it's very warm, like today's weather. I'd lose more, maybe 2.5, 3 litre. If I'm doing like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. Because remember, like when you're doing legs, it's not the same as if you're doing arms or you're doing shoulder workout. You know, it's legs are big muscles, so they demand a huge amount of water. So your body's working extra harder. You're sweating a lot more. You become a lot warmer when you do leg session. Then when you compare it to an arm session, and you're doing just biceps or triceps or just doing shoulders, you're doing that for an hour maybe, and you're not gonna. The biceps and the triceps are small muscles, so you're not really gonna lose that much water weight. You're still gonna sweat, but it's not the same as if you're doing a leg session or a big back session for an hour and a half. These big muscles, they demand a lot more water, so you need to be careful with that, and you need to watch your water intake, because then you'll be dehydrated, and then you'll fatigue a lot earlier. Then it'll affect your performance. So the best way to do it, and I'm going to explain it, is to weigh yourself before going into the gym and after that, and you'll see how much you lost. So how much fluid do I lose? So it depends on your fitness level, really. So the fitter you are, and the more you readily you sweat. So let me explain that. So your fitness levels. So if you're really fit, and you're doing like high intensity, you're doing bodybuilding stuff. If you're doing like 10 to 12 reps, and you're doing that for an hour, you're doing that for an hour and a half, you're gonna experience a lot more dehydration, and you're gonna sweat more. As if you're someone who's not fit, who's just going in there, training for a half an hour, talking, texting, being on the phone the whole time, just messing about. That person is not gonna lose that much water, or is not gonna lose much fluid. Women, especially, tend to lose less than men, or tend to sweat less than men. Obviously, men have bigger size, more muscles, bigger size muscles, so that it's you'd lose a lot more, basically, than women. The more you sweat, the more you should take care of yourself and avoid dehydration. You can estimate, like I said, your sweat and how much you sweat, how much fluid you lost by weighing yourself. Every 1 kg decrease in weight represents a loss of approximately 1 litre of fluid. So if you lose 1 kilo, if you went in and you weighed yourself and you're like 80 kg or 70, or in pounds, like let's say you're 170 pounds, and you came out, you're like 170 pounds, and you're like 169, 168, then you lost about 2 pounds. And same thing in kgs. If you went in, you're 80 kg, and you came out, you're like 78, you lost about 2 kg, or 1 if it's 79. So that's how much you lost, and you need to replace that as soon as possible. So the way I do it is I drink plenty of water before I go into the gym. So I drink about 1.5 litres, 2 litres, and I'd have a bit of carbs with that, and I'll explain that in a different video, why you need carbs before you go into the gym. So you drink plenty of water before you go into the gym, a few hours. If you're doing, let's say, training in the evening, you drink plenty during the day, so you're well hydrated. You look at the color of your urine. If it's not dark colored, then you should be fine. If it's diluted, if it doesn't have any color, if it's not yellow, then you should be fine. The way it should be, it should be diluted, should be clear. Then you know you're well hydrated. So that's the way I want you to be before you go into the gym. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water before you go during the day. So you're not just drinking 5 minutes before you go in. No, drink throughout the day. So you're well hydrated. And in the gym, I want you to do the same thing. You stay hydrated. If you're sweating a lot, keep drinking. Every few seconds, every rep, just drink a small bit. Every few minutes, small bit. Get a big bottle of water with you and drink plenty of that. It's free, so drink plenty of water. Next thing, and after this session, I want you to do the same thing. Drink plenty. Stay hydrated. Drink about a liter and a half after the session. A few hours, just keep drinking every while. But don't just drink when you're thirsty. Like, don't just keep drinking it if you weren't thirsty. If you're thirsty and you're sweating a lot, you need to replace that. So you know your body the best. I know my body, and I know if I'm not well hydrated. You can notice that on my skin. You can see I'll get like a dehydrated skin. Even my performance, it wouldn't be the same if I was well hydrated. So obviously it's dangerous to be dehydrated. You can get a heat stroke if you're not replacing that fluid you lost, especially in hot in humid countries, in a hot country, and it's like 40 degrees, 35 degrees, 50 sometimes in some countries. You need to stay well hydrated, because it's going to affect your performance. It's going to affect your mental performance as well as your physical. So according to the study that I looked up, so a body water deficit of 2% body weight is defined as dehydration. Can impair your aerobic performance in warm conditions. So that's clear enough. You can look it up yourself, but I'm doing you a favor here. I'm linking studies into this, so you know I'm not actually pulling this out of nowhere, but I'm actually looking it up and I'm presenting it to you. However, it has less impact on performance in cold conditions. So obviously, if you're living in a cold country, well, let's say during winter in Europe, let's say America, or if you live in America or anywhere else, you're gonna sweat less than you would during the summer because of the weather, obviously. So you're gonna drink less water that way, but it's also like during cold weather, you can lose water, like I said, and during your as you breathe out, you can lose water that way. So the best way to do it is drink plenty, stay hydrated, even if you don't feel like you're thirsty during winter. Drink small bits every once in a while, and if you're in the gym, you're not messing about. Work extra harder. Make sure you sweat. Don't just go in and be on your phone. messing about. If you're in there, just make sure you get shit done. Don't mess about. That's me. I don't even talk to anyone. I just say hi to people and that's it. Like, I don't really even mess about when I'm in the gym. Anyways, so as your blood volume decreases, your body temperature rises. So it works the opposite to each other. They work the opposite to each other. So your blood, let's say this is your blood volume, and this is your body temperature. So as your blood volume decreases, your body temperature rises. So you feel a lot warmer. If the heart is working extra harder than it would normally work, and the lungs as well, your can't even say that word. Circulatory system. Circulatory system. So your heart is working extra harder. Your lungs are working extra harder. So because they needs to pump blood around your body. Let's say if you're doing legs, it needs to pump a lot of blood into your legs. So the strain on your body system means that exercise feels much harder. You'll fatigue a lot earlier if you're doing a big session of legs, let's say. Your performance will drop. Hydration also leads to mental fatigue. You're not going to perform as well as if you're well hydrated. And a drop in concentration and low moods, which obviously will occur as a result of that. So it's simple, just drink plenty of water to avoid all of that shit. It's simple. So a drop in performance of anaerobic or high intensity activities, if you're doing sprints, you're doing CrossFit, let's say. So let me explain that. So sport specific skills and aerobic performance in cool weathers usually occurs once you have lost 3 to 5% body weight. If you lose 4%, you may experience nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. And that can be dangerous over time if you continue to do that in a hot country, in a humid country. It can lead to heat stroke. So at 5% of your aerobic capacity would decrease by 30%, while drop of 8% can cause dizziness, weakness and confusion. These are all studies that I looked up. So the more dehydrated you become, the less able your body is to sweat. So your body is smart. The more you dehydrate it, let's say if you're training for an hour and a half, you're someone like me who sweats a lot. By the end of the workout, let's say an hour before or half an hour before, your body is going to sweat less. This is because dehydration results in smaller blood volume. So the more you sweat, the less your blood volume becomes. So the body is smart, it will do the opposite. So it will increase your blood volume and you will sweat less by the end of the workout. So the body needs to compromise that. It needs to compromise between your blood flow to the muscles, which is the most important thing. That's why you get the pump to your biceps, your triceps, your back, your chest. If you're training them, you'll see a pump because your blood volume increases, and the sweat decreases. The amount of sweat you sweat decreases because it has the compromise between the two. So if you're drinking plenty of water, then you should be okay. You'll get a better pump because your blood volume really increases, and you'll sweat less. You might sweat a little bit more because your body needs to work on the temperature of it. Okay. Usually the blood flow is to the skin is reduced because it's not really that important for the blood flow to go to the skin. It needs to go to the muscles, causing your body temperature to rise. That's why your body temperature rises, because they work opposite to each other, like I said. Your blood volume, and this is your sweat, how much you sweat. So as blood volume decreases, you sweat more. As blood volume increases, you sweat less. It's simple. Hope I made that clear. So obviously you cannot prevent your body from losing fluid. It's gonna happen. It's a natural thing. Everybody sweats, but you can minimize it. You can minimize how much fluid you lose. But it's a natural thing. Your body does it because it needs to regulate your body temperature. You can prevent it by offsetting fluid loss as far as possible. The best way to do it is to hydrate before you start exercising, to drink adequate fluids. Like I said earlier, what I do is just drink 1 liter to 2 an hour during the day. Couple hours before, I stay well hydrated, and then I go into the gym, and my performance is always speaks for itself. I always perform really high, and I experience fatigue at the end, but yeah. So prevention, it's best to start hydrating the day before. So if you're doing, let's say, competition, a CrossFit competition, or you're running a marathon or something like that, start hydrating the day before. Make sure you're well hydrated. Make sure you look at your urine, and you make sure it's clear. It's not dark coloured. It's not yellow. It's clear. That's it. Then you're good to go. And then as soon as you finish, because you've sweated a lot, replace that water that you lost. So drink plenty of water, drink electrolytes, and I'm gonna do a separate video on electrolytes and why they are so important for athletes and anybody that goes to the gym. Yeah, so drink plenty of water in hot, humid countries, because you'll sweat more. I spoke about that earlier. Are you dehydrated? So both athletes and non-athletes suffer mild dehydration without realizing it. It's normal. Everybody can experience dehydration. It's not something that you can prevent 100%, but you can minimize it. A lot of people I see in the gym, they just walk around with a bottle of water. I'm like, how do you train? Like, how are you still alive? Especially women, like, they don't drink plenty of water, and I always tell them, like, you need plenty of water. Like, you need throughout the day. It's not just in the gym. You need throughout the day. Like, you need to basically. Anyways, doesn't matter. So dehydration is cumulative, so which means that you can become dehydrated over successive days of training. So if you trained like 2 days ago and you did the heavy legs session and you experienced dehydration, you can still experience for the next 2 days. You can still experience that dehydration. You can still experience fatigue, sluggishness, loss of appetite. lightheaded, headaches, and I experienced that. I did Muay Thai class before, and I started vomiting after like an hour into the session. Obviously, I trained too hard, and the guy was training me. He was just not letting me, just go. And I was still a beginner, and I drank plenty of water before that, but my body was just in a shock of how much, like, that's not the way you should be doing it. I'm a qualified personal trainer, and I'm a nutritionist. So the way he was doing it was just absolutely wrong. Like, you cannot train a beginner like that. Just non-stop, go. You need to relax the first few sessions. Build that performance up slowly. You can't just throw everything at them all at once, because then they're gonna go. They're just not gonna come back, and they're gonna start getting sick. And I didn't have an appetite for like a couple of days after that. But then I learned my lesson, and I changed the trainer. But yeah, that's a different topic. I'm gonna have to do another video on that. So yeah, I explained everything you see on this slide. Everything is clear. So I explained everything on this slide. Everything should be clear at this moment. Your urine shouldn't be concentrated, dark colored, or small volume. You need to be producing diluted, clear urine. So the best way to do it is to look at your urine. If you're dehydrated, then you'll see a dark colored, concentrated, and low volume, small volume of urine. You'll experience headaches, you'll experience loss of appetite, you'll experience feeling excessively hot, dry mouth, headaches, nausea. All these you'll experience them if you're dehydrated. And that's it. That's our topic done for today. I hope that was. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope. Well, that's it. That's our topic for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was beneficial for you. Let me know what you think. If I should do more of these videos, and I will be doing more. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.